Sanbonani Dumelang, Sanbonani, good afternoon to everyone. Amachitayi tukazuthi hola 7. Makbenjalo ke bafethu. Just want to add just a little part on the request, or rather the demand or the call for the removal of the Minister of Arts and Culture. And put a disclaimer before I say what I'm going to say, that it is nothing personal. In every business, if things are not going right and there is a need for change of management, it often happens. Yes, we know that change of management is such a painful transition, a painful process, but one has to do it. So we are requesting, Mr. President, I wish I could take you back to the day when we were at Moyene, and I said the same thing, that it is unfortunate that our comrades, when they get deployed, they become celebrities themselves and become untouchable. And here we are faced with a pandemic, and our sector is probably the worst that has been affected by the lockdowns, because we are not employed, we are not workers, we are not regarded as workers in this country, and we do not have a monthly salary like others maybe that would be cut, but we depend on the events that we cannot do at the moment. And it is our plight that please, it's time. It is time that you change management. Our sector has no leadership. Not that he is not a leader totally, but he is not for the sector. And and I'm happy that even, in fact, I should say thank you, Judas Malema, for adding your voice. Other political organizations have been very quiet, but at least EFF, during your press briefing, the recent one, you made mention of our sector, that it needs to be looked after, it needs to be supported, and not be left to die a slow death. We are indeed in dire strait. We are in dire need of help. Many of our sector members are here from other provinces because the industries in Gauteng, in Joburg in particular, and they've been renting places to stay. So you can imagine having not paid rent for 8 months, for 9 months now. And that is the situation. If we are not helped, it means that these guys must go back to their provinces. And we know that when you are not in Joburg, they don't even move. If we are suffering whilst we are in Joburg, those that are in other provinces, they must be suffering even more. We have tried. We continue, because this to us is a calling. We continue to entertain people with nothing, just for fun, just keeping people happy, and that, yet we are not happy. We have no food, we have no medical attention, we don't have medical supplies, and some of our members have got chronic diseases and they don't have medical aid because they are not employed. And yet all the companies that make money through our products, they have people who are employed and earning salaries, and with benefits, with basic benefits. We do not have. And under the leadership of Minister Nathi Mthethwa, nothing has happened, as we can say that. And it actually pains me to see how our own people, they are quick at apologizing to white people, to react to white people when they are calling. We've been calling for so many times, for so many years. We've been calling for change, and expecting that a member of the organization would follow the mandate of transforming the industry, but the industry is not transformed. Beside transformation, we are still exploited. Post 1994, we still suffer the exploitation and the marginalization of us being black against those that are white. And it pains me really, because some of us, when we raise issues, we become targets and isolated and marginalized. We can't even have access to relief funds because we have issues. We have issues with the department, and probably we are not likely to get that assistance. So it is a call. It is a genuine call. I'm supporting the call regardless of who is calling for it. I'm supporting that call that indeed our minister should be changed. We need a minister who understands, who would understand, or who would be willing, it's not even understanding, who would be willing to surround himself with people who have knowledge of the industry, of the sectors. And in fact, it's clear that he is failing us. We have CIFSA, but CIFSA has not been funded. We know that CIFSA has not been funded, and it is no longer able to do certain things that it's supposed to do. We're hoping that with the new leadership, we'll see things moving fast and industry organized. We know that COVID has come as a shock to many of us. We did not expect this. We did not plan for it. But there are certain creative ways of making a living for the sector, for keeping the sector alive. Otherwise, by the time COVID-19 ends, the sector will have no one existing in the sector, and people would have suffered a real blow, a real dent in there, even in the companies. The companies are closing down. Some of us, we had companies that had rented offices, and we can't afford anymore to pay rents, so we had to close shop. There are no shows. We can't manage the artists, keep the artists here. All the artists have gone home. But I am making this call and the plight of the sector, genuinely so, because we really, really need help. We are human beings also. This is a humanitarian situation, a humanitarian plight for people to be assisted. Every human being needs food to survive. So it's a matter of survival. It's not a matter of luxury. And we've seen so many people who are more popular and who have received this relief fund. So it seems like instead of it being genuinely driven to support the sector, in fact, this relief fund shouldn't even be following a particular criteria. It should be saying, let us register all creative sector people and see how we can distribute this evenly to everybody so that everyone can survive, not for certain people who qualify because they've got tax certificates. It just says that people don't even understand how this sector works, because many people are using pseudonyms which are not legal personnel. And because they're using pseudonyms, they don't have bank accounts that are linked to those names. It's just stage name. They don't have tax clearance certificates for those names. They only have their names. The names that are registered on the ID are not used. Others they don't use such names as stage names. So it is highly impossible for people to comply and or to qualify. And unfortunately, it is only companies that are coming from previously privileged communities that would have such. But our ordinary people don't have such. And I don't know whether one should qualify to leave, or there are certain members who don't qualify to leave, so they must die of hunger. This is a matter of life and death. It is a matter of hunger. There is so much hunger that would be killing people. People are not even taking their medication that they are supposed to take daily, and they are not eating well. So it is a humanitarian plight. to the president of this country to say, look, President, during this pandemic, the sector is also suffering. It is not only other sectors that are suffering. This sector, it is the most hard hit by the COVID because there are no events. Venues are closed. There are no gatherings. Even if we could say 50 people or 250 people in an event, no one can recover the cost of making that show to happen. Many people who are making, if you look at the United States, has got certain it has high standards of these virtual performances that are happening because they are well resourced. Our people don't have the cameras that are required to produce quality production for these virtual performances. Is only few, so it is selective. It is the only selective few that would have such quality productions, and therefore it is my plight. It is my plight. Don't be deceived by people who are posting on Instagram and Facebook. It is the only what one would call the cosmetic look of things. But the reality is that people are suffering. We know that people are losing places to stay. People have not taken their children back to school because they haven't paid their fees, school fees, the outstanding school fees from last year, and to register children this year. They don't have that money because they haven't been working for more than 8 months now. So it is my humble call and plight to you, President, that if we cannot be assisted, can we have somebody else who would be sympathetic to everybody, who would be passionate about the sector, and not have a selective circle of friends that are benefiting all the time. Even the people who are judging these, who are adjudicating these relief funds, most of them you'll find that are people who are well off, who are fine, and they might not even care about others, or people who are within the circles, because we don't remember any call that said the department is appointing. It requires names of people that it can appoint, and therefore people should apply. No one was told about it. We only know that so-and-so is there, so-and-so. If you know somebody, you can talk to somebody who's within the adjudication process and maybe be lucky to get. But we don't want to act like that. We don't want to behave like that. I am talking on behalf of the entire sector that every creative practitioner deserves to live. Let us not only put our masks, wash our hands, sanitize, in order to die out of hunger. Whilst we're preventing COVID, to die from COVID, we would die out of hunger. Some members are losing even families at this time, and you can imagine that if you are an artist and you were a breadwinner and somebody in your family dies, what do you do? What is the situation there? We don't know what to do. So there's a lot of strain in the sector, and I am speaking from the bottom of my heart and saying, please, President, change management. Change management. You are governing the country, you're managing the country, and if a particular executive, a particular official is not helping to manage the country, to help you manage the country, please remove them and put somebody else who's capable. We don't want to suffer because of egos and people who have egos and not doing what they're supposed to do. And it saddens me to see a newspaper writing that our minister is a mambara, he's either a slow learner or not capable. So let us have people who are capable. Let us change. Let's thank him for having held the office, and find somebody else who can be a quick learner and capable of doing something to change the status quo. This is one sector that has not moved an inch from apartheid syndromes in terms of transformation. It is one sector that is. And when people were saying Mbalula is better, I agree that Mbalula would have, I know that Mbalula is very passionate about transformation. He would have driven transformation at least. But our minister, no, he's not for this sector. Thanks. Cheerio. Bye.